Welcome back to the Creative Matters podcast, Frankie Meaden.
Thank you.
It's lovely to see you again.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah, and we spoke in episode 87, which was recorded in July of 2023 last year. So today's purpose really to meet again is just to get a little bit of an update on what you've been up to over the last year, and then also for you to talk about your show, your group show, which is coming up at Turua Gallery.
Yeah.
So yeah, what have you been up to?
Well, been a busy year. I had my first ever solo show. So that was a huge moment for me, like a big life goal. That was at the Frame Gallery. And then I went on an artist residency over in the Blue Mountains in Australia, which
Wow.
was incredible. It was more of because there's different types of residencies. I was like on my own. I was like basically on a little creative retreat. And as a mum with three primary school age kids, it was invaluable. It was, yeah, I felt really, really lucky to have that time, that
Yeah.
space in everyday life to be able to, um, I don't know, not have to feed everyone all the time. That's
Yeah.
probably was the most immediately noticeable thing that yeah, just being able to do whatever I wanted when I wanted, which was
Yeah. And just to devote yourself to your artwork.
I actually, yeah, and I brought quite a few different materials with me that are not my normal because I couldn't bring all of my recycled stuff over to Australia. So I brought, all of my drawing stuff and pens and charcoal and um it was really nice to kind of take the pressure off creating and like needing to produce after the solo show and feeling a bit burnt out, and then knowing I had this Turua Gallery show coming, it was just this window of a break. And
And were you hoping to create a new series in the residency?
I no, I took all the pressure off creating. I told myself that I didn't need to make anything. It was just about kind of feeling inspired. But I did find that when I was on my own, I did just want to create. So I did make some stuff. But
You couldn't resist.
no, totally, which is good. It shows that I'm doing what I should be doing, I guess. But
Yeah, that's a great thing.
yeah,
And how did you get this residency?
I just applied. A family friend told me about it. It's this little community in the Blue Mountains in Mount Wilson that live up in the mountains. There's like 9 people that live there full time. Like it's tiny.
Wow.
And there's a because most people live in Sydney and then for during the week and then go there the weekends. Yeah, and they have all these incredible gardens. So lots of people travel there to go and pay to walk around their beautiful gardens. But as the artist in residence, that was so fancy. I got to just kind of go in for free and sit in these
Wow.
beautiful gardens. And it was autumn, so it was beautiful autumn colors everywhere.
Mm, how
Great.
inspiring. That must have been amazing. And
Yeah.
did you have to make a proposal where you talked about the works that you're going to make, or was there no pressure?
No, no, but I did have a couple of dinners with people in the community, and I hosted like after I hosted an artist talk, and I kind of so I think that's what they want. They want people to come in and inspire them and bring
Mm,
something to the community. So I was their first ever international artist and their first ever fiber artist, I think. Maybe not their first fiber artist. But yeah, they were really, really cool community.
that
I
would have
think the
been
average age is about 70.
really. Oh, wow. That's so cool. And did you
Great.
come home feeling extra inspired by that experience?
Yeah, I was quite refreshed. I went for 2.5 weeks. It was meant to be a month, but I couldn't quite hack that. Like 2.5 was as much as I could hack being away from the kids.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and it was amazing. I was ready
Mm,
to go home by the end.
yeah, I bet. Oh, so nice just to have that space where you can clear your head and, get ready for the next burst of creativity.
Yeah, yeah. What a
Yeah.
privilege.
Yeah. So that sounds like you've had a good year and you've been pretty busy. Have you noticed it's been a bit more difficult with sales, like many artists have?
Absolutely. Yes, sales have been slow. I started working part-time in a jewelry store, which I used to work in actually before I had kids. So my old boss just messaged her. She's amazing, and we have a great relationship. So I'm back there kind of working in a luxury jewelry store 2 days a week. And I started in November. So what that means is that I have that financial pressure taken off. So at least the bills are just being paid by those 2 days. Yeah, so that's great timing because I
Yeah.
don't have to worry about the sales so much.
And are you thinking about more public art, and have you got sort of plans for future commissions and installations?
Yes, I've had a couple of messages from different cities in the US. But it's similar to what I just said about the other sales. You never know until it's done, it's not done until the
Yeah.
contract's signed. So I don't hold on to it too tightly.
Yeah. It's hard though, isn't it, when you put
But
so much sort of love and effort into that part of the process and then nothing comes of it.
yeah, it's very
It's
hard
not
not
easy.
for me to not get really excited and start planning the kind of installations in detail. Because once start thinking about it, I think, oh, and I could do it this way, and I could hang it the other way. And I start, to get all excited, and I have to try and shut that down so that I'm not then heartbroken if it doesn't.
Yeah, it's so tricky, isn't it? It's something that most artists experience, I think. And it's definitely been one of those years for gallerists and artists. Yeah.
Yeah.
So excitedly, you have a group show coming up with Turua Gallery, and that opens on August the 23rd from
Yes.
5 p.m. And that's
Yeah.
called Contemporary Creations of Colour, which is very appropriate
Right.
with the beautiful, colourful works that you create and also the other two artists. So you're
Mm.
working alongside Sam Leach and Agati Rabini. She's also referred to as Restless Infectious. So I am speaking with Sam and Agati in the next week. So you'll also be hearing from them on the podcast, which will be exciting. And Agati can actually tell us exactly how to pronounce her name, which would be good.
Okay.
She's from Latvia. So it's a very exciting show. Can you tell us about it?
I am really excited about it. We are bringing all the colors in, as the name suggests. I can give you a little peek behind me at the current piece. Little flash of that. These flash
Beautiful.
of color here. Um, with my past show, I made some really detailed, smaller flowers in the works. But in this collection, I've gone a quite a lot more abstract. And I'm really loving that. So I'm excited for the party of the opening night, actually. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it's always a good party at Turua openings.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds amazing. And do you feel like you have made any other changes or have you seen your work evolve since I last spoke to you?
I'm going slightly more abstract. It's still
Mm.
flowers. It's
Mm.
always flowers. I sometimes dream up doing other things, but I really like the line work with the rope. And so I've been doing just kind of, it's a bit hard to tell that it's flowers. It looks like kind of explosions of color.
That'd be lovely. And I did see one beautiful work, I think, that you made earlier in the year, which was white with little bits
Mm,
of gold. And
mm.
so that was a little bit more monochromatic, wasn't it? Which was really striking as well.
Yeah, I've made another piece to be like the sister to the large that's hanging in Parnell. Um, at Orsini Fine Jewelry. Yeah, it's in the window. So that's a really large piece, and I've made a smaller kind of version because I had some of the same colors left over with the kind of
Hmm.
themes and the green and the gold. I really enjoyed that. It's a
Yeah, that's really, really beautiful. And
neutral.
you are sort of dipping into purples and other colors like that. And I saw on your Instagram that you were actually dyeing some of the rope, which is really interesting. I don't know if you were doing that before, were you?
I don't think I was, at least not a lot. Because I've got a lot of scraps now from the previous projects, which are like what different colors, and I don't want it to look too messy. So, like for example, some of the street flags have like half of them will be green, and then the other half will be like green and red at the
Mm.
top, and it doesn't look good. So I am like dyeing the top half of it to make it kind of cohesive. And it
Mm.
still has flecks of the other color, but it's like maybe makes it kind of red and brown instead of red and green.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have been doing some dyeing. Managed to stain a couple of pots in the kitchen. So
That's good. And it looked like on Instagram you were actually eating the dye, but that that
yeah,
must have been a special
yeah,
for Instagram. Yeah, it was
yeah.
fun.
That's that little sound that says "good soup." I don't know if you've heard that, but I
No.
being a bit silly.
No, that was fun. So you've come a long way and you've got this wonderful show coming up. I can't wait. I'm definitely going to be there at the opening, and hopefully some
Yeah,
of our listeners can join us and meet you all in person. And it's just lovely to be able to have the stories of Sam and Agati as well on the podcast so that people can get a bit of background
yeah.
um, behind their art practice. And then also they can go back to your beautiful episode number 87 and find out more about Frankie. So thank you very much for joining us briefly again. I can't believe we've actually done this in 10 minutes, which is
Oh,
very, very unusual for me to stay under an hour. So just nice to kind of touch base really quickly and connect. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you at your show.
yeah. I'll see you there. Thanks, Maddie.
Thank you. And boom. Oops, I hadn't pushed button. Oh my goodness. Stop recording.